Have you ever been in a place where you feel contented? Even when you literally don't have everything and you have a lot of challenges in life, but then you feel very good and you feel you have achieved the greatest thing in your life. I think for me, it is moving my kids to Dubai. Shooting this video comes from a point where I am at the highest degree of gratitude. I have been in Dubai for close to 8 years now, and I could say my greatest achievement, as much as people build houses, people buy lands, people do a lot of things that satisfy them. For me, moving my kids to Dubai is the most satisfying thing. Moving to a new country is something that is always very hard. So as I share this journey, I just want you to dive into the bit of being grateful, but mostly I want you to dive into the bit of minding what you say every single day. I remember in 2017, I moved to Dubai and I told myself one day I will bring my kids to this city. I don't know what's it that I love about Dubai, but like in one nutshell or in one word, I love this city for one reason, not because it's the best, but because it gives a little bit of everything. It challenges you as well, and it keeps you moving. The fact that the city moves at a faster pace, it really gives you that joy to stay in, because if you're a dreamer, the best place to be is Dubai. That bit is what I love about Dubai. Now let me share the challenging journey, yet the most fulfilling journey that I've gone through bringing my kids to Dubai. In 2017, like I said, I moved to Dubai, and as a mother, it was so painful to leave my kids in Kampala. But at the back of my mind, because I come from a humble background, and in this case, I love to call it poor, as plain as it is, I want to build a different generation. My kids, I want them to think differently. I want them to look at things as everything is possible. I don't want them to have limitations. And that's why I really mind about the environment that I raised them in. So when I moved here 7 years ago, I told myself I am going to move my kids to Dubai, or I am going to move my kids in a place or in an environment where they can think of possibility, where they can look at greater things, where they can look at bigger things as if they're normal things, because that's what happens in Dubai. But at that time, I was earning $3,500, and this is just like $1,000. So it's literally nothing compared to living in Dubai. But this was the same time I was dreaming to bring my kids. And this is where it comes from. It comes from the mentor that I got at that time. So before thinking of bringing my kids to Dubai, I was always thinking, oh, I want to make money and then go and build a house back home. Maybe we stay back as a family, me, my husband, and my kids. But then my mentor one day sat me down and said, why don't you change your words from going back home to stay with my kids to being able to earn and then bring my kids to Dubai? That was a statement that really moved me, and I was like, from today I am going to wake up every single day and tell myself I am moving my kids to Dubai. So I'm so excited to share with you the journey, and I hope you find some bit of inspiration. One of the biggest concerns of parents when moving to Dubai, especially I think in Africa specifically, and I will talk about Uganda, some people think that moving to Dubai means you just come to make money and go home. And they think
you cannot raise your kids here. If you have kids and you're not married, you cannot move your kids to Dubai.
Those are things that are not really true. And I want to encourage somebody out there, if you want to move your kids to Dubai and you're single, it is possible. Now, this again is a video that will make you plan better, because honestly, to move my kids to Dubai, I did not plan that much. The plan that I made was them to visit me. I wanted them to come and we have Christmas together. And if you look at the picture behind, that was our first Christmas in Dubai, and it's the most memorable moment in my life, because working in Dubai and working in retail, I never used to have a lot of Christmas with my kids. So having them beside me, hugging them and smiling, it was just so magical. Going back to bringing them. When they came to visit me, I was so excited. I had saved for that. I moved into a bigger apartment. But then we enjoyed December so much. And every time that I would be in my bedroom, my kids would come, give me a kiss, give me a peck, and tell me how they love me. I asked myself, when I was not there for 8 or 7 years, who did they tell they love? Like, who did they say those words to? And how much did they miss telling me how they love me? And I know we used to make calls, but when you look at Dubai, it's very hard to make video calls online, like WhatsApp or anywhere. You can find a way of doing it, but it's not always, you don't feel that much as somebody who is closer and physically there. And in the thinking hard of whatever they used to do happy, they would wake up every day and they would say, Mommy, we can't believe, we feel like this is a dream come true. And when they moved here, they were so excited. They loved the city. December ends, I'm about to go back to work. The father then moved into a new country, and my kids had to go home and still go into the same pattern that was way back. Move them with an auntie. I don't have my parents and my husband as well. So it was quite very, very hard. And then I made an abrupt decision. I said, you know what? I'm going to remain with my kids here in Dubai. At some point, all my friends, all my people were like, what are you getting yourself into? And for me, this is where faith comes in. Because see, faith, sometimes we have it because we think there's a solution. You have faith that you'll pay your rent because you know there's a salary coming. You have faith that you will do this because you know there's hope. But there is that bit of faith, which is when you know that you literally have nothing and you trust God. And when God speaks about trust, He speaks about trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. And this is the word that kept me going. And the bit where God talks about taking courage. It was a mixture of courage and faith as well. And I took on this journey, did their visas. It was the hardest bit. It took a bit of my mental health and as well financially. I literally emptied every bit of my account. And as well, I went into credits and all that. But it got done at the end of the day. But when it was done and they got their Emirates IDs, I remember the joy that filled their hearts. I can always remember how they were happy. And these are things that literally fulfill our hearts as parents. And I know we all want houses, we all want everything that we want, but let's think about that family reunion of your kids, raising them the way you want, telling them what they have to say, listening to the words they say that are not right on a daily basis, and you say, hey, you don't have to say this. How can you do that without them? And I understand the bit that sometimes it's expensive to move with your kids in different countries. There are some things that are very normal to other people. Like it's very easy for people to say, oh, everyone moves with their kids. It's not easy for other people because they earn differently. But what I want to tell you is start with speaking about it. Start with manifesting it. Then plan for it. Because the bit of planning, I did the planning of visit. I didn't do well the plan of staying in. But the thing is, because I had already manifested it, things just kept on moving. People were there to help. I got a lot of help, support from work, from friends, from everybody around me. They were so supportive. I was so grateful for them. Now, I want to tell you a bit of why I moved my kids to Dubai. Now, there's a bit of the parent wants to be with the kid, but also there are certain things that I want to point out that are very great with moving your kids to Dubai. I personally want to be a generational cycle breaker. So when I talk about generational cycle breaker, is definitely we've grown into our families and we've seen things that have happened and we've seen the environments of where they have lived in. Now, some of you have a good family. They've been raised well. Mother, father is there, there are values, and you would want your kids to grow in that same environment. Now, some of us, you look at your family and you see certain things and you're like, I don't want my kids to pick it up. We want better generations. Every time there's a new generation, there might be things that are not very good, but of course it comes out as a better generation. And also there's this Bible verse, we move from glory to glory. So I don't want my kids to grow around certain environment. Number two is the beliefs. So most of the times there are a lot of limitations back home, and I don't want my kids to experience that. And sometimes those beliefs can be everywhere, but when your kids are in your vicinity, they're around you, it's possible that you can do your best to shape them the way you would want as a parent. And kids of these days, it's really hard to shape them the way you want, but also watching them be the best version of themselves is also something that matters. Now, when you look at back home, sometimes they focus so much on the books, or they have got the best grades and all that. They don't focus so much on the talents. While when you move out of your comfort zone or out of your country, you look at people surviving on talents. And the world today really is not all about the books. It's not about the degree. We've seen big humans coming out not because of their degrees, and this is a little bit of balance. So it's not that I don't want them to go to school, but I also want to bring out the talents, and nobody could do that. I want my kids to have a bit of balance. Education, going back home, there is some good in our education, but definitely when they move and have education out of Uganda, they have better chances. They're so exposed. And with this world right now, recently, it's about exposure. So I think it's also one thing that was great. And when we talk about education, there's some misconceptions, and people think you cannot take your kid to Dubai. In Dubai, you decide the life you want to live. Yes, it is definitely more expensive than back home, but you choose what you want, because there are even schools that can be as less expensive as like 600 in a month, which is around, maybe in dollars, that's around $150, $200. So you literally choose. The curriculum matters. Dubai schools are quite expensive, but still you can get a budget one. And for me, it's about, again, faith. Like, I have lived my life under that. I declare and say, I want my kids to do ABC and to go ABCD. Now, the process might be hard. It's not that it's going to be smooth whenever you manifest, but there's a way God gives you that strength to maneuver, because life is challenging and change is inevitable. Sometimes you plan this and this happens, but there's a way God helps you to maneuver through all the challenges. So education is also that bit. We spend so many years back home going to school and graduating. When you move from home and come here, then you have to go back and study again. When you go to, let's say, UK, US, then you go back. So my question was, why am I still paying school fees when I know that I need my kids to move out of that country? Now, if you don't have any plan of kids moving to another country, then that's okay. But for me, I always wanted my kids to move. So moving them earlier would make more sense. Social network. Now, we always say your network is your net worth. I want my kids to have the best network around. And sometimes we don't determine it as parents, but the environments you move into or you live with your kids, actually, you will see that it helps them get the right people around them. And it also goes back to praying for them, yes, letting them be themselves, yes, but also you play a bigger role. Yeah, if your kid lives, let's say, in the village, they're going to get people from there. But if a kid lives in the city, lives in a good community, the way they think is different, the way they see things is different. Definitely there are some traits that come out which are not okay, but that's a human thing. No one is perfect. They might pick up a few words which are not right. But the way they see things is very important. I think this is a bit of extra. It's more about the connection between your kids and yourself. I feel whenever you stay away from your kids, that sense of connection is not there. And I see it from now. They need to look at me make the money. I want them to look at me and see how hard you work for the money. Because when they're back home, you keep sending money, they think you're just plucking money out of maybe on a tree. But here they know. They look at me and they know today didn't go well, we don't have money, and they say, Mommy, it's okay, we'll do what we can do, we'll eat what is available and all that. The community support you get in Dubai is incomparable when you have kids. They are very helpful. I remember when when one of my boys got sick and I'm in this community and everybody was just coming around to help. This might not work with everybody, but I think for me, I have received that in Dubai a lot. One of the most significant lessons I've learned during the transition is the importance of embracing the unknown. Now, the unknown is something that you want to do, but you haven't done it. Because sometimes we have a picture. You think of the challenges, I'm not going to get money, blah, 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 and all that. So embracing the unknown has been a very, very important lesson for me. I started this journey not thinking that I would be where I am, but here I am. Looking on our journey so far, I'm reminded that moving to Dubai with kids isn't without challenges, but the rewards really, really outweigh them. If you are considering moving your kids to Dubai, I hope my story has kind of brought this sense of knowing that it is very possible. If you have any experiences or questions about moving to Dubai, please do leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you, whether you want to move them, whether you moved them, and what experience did you have? What are the challenges that you have faced?